about my experiences running through 2020 and now the beginning of 2021. I have been running on and off my whole life. Obviously with 2020, I went from running in groups and like running groups to just running by myself. So that has been an adjustment, but I want to talk about one thing in particular. So I'm really bad at technology. So what I'm going to show you are photos that I've taken throughout 2020 and a little bit of 2021. It's a slideshow on my computer that I'm recording through my phone. I'm sorry, I'm not very like tech savvy. All right, let's go. So if you notice, there's a lot of bottles, mostly liquor bottles, plastic bottles, trash, and some pictures of my shoes. But so prior to no gatherings, there's me modeling with the trash that I found. The people that I used to run with, the running group people, the people who founded the local group actually, they made local news for a good reason. And you might be asking, oh, like what did they do? Throughout their runs, they would pick up trash and like eventually they picked up so much trash that it got the traction of local news media, which is amazing. Like the amount of trash that you find just like running throughout your town and stuff. But I started to do the same too once lockdown was sort of in place. And you know what? I was astonished because I wasn't going into the city or going, like I was staying within my neighborhood, within my local region, just to abide with lockdown procedures and to prevent spread of any germs, right? And it was shocking. At first I thought, okay, maybe I'll find a few pieces of trash here and there, but I would literally come back from my runs and my walks, pockets stuffed, hands full, like it looked like I was part of the local sanitation team. Here's me modeling, and it kind of brings up a bigger issue, in my opinion, that first of all, the use of plastic in general. There's me modeling after my run. But the use of plastic is so widespread and so unnecessary. Plastic is, first of all, it's made from unrenewable resources, but it's just every single piece of plastic that has ever been created is still on Earth. It hasn't disappeared, and there aren't really, like, local facilities aren't necessarily required to, what is it called? Provide recycling programs for all the plastics that are sold in that town or city, which for me, it doesn't make much sense because what are you supposed to do with it? It's just going to end up in your landfills or in your oceans. It's just going to be more waste. So I started, these aren't all of the plastics that I found during my runs and during my walks, but these are some of the ones that I wanted to document. So that's one issue, and I'm giving that a thumbs down. It needs two, though, 2 thumbs down. But I just want to talk about, too, like, how widespread plastic is. So most of these, as you can see, are tiny liquor bottles, shot glasses, whatever they're called. They're small liquor things, right? And so that's another issue too. So why is it that we're finding so many of these liquor bottles scattered throughout a mostly residential area? And one friend, because I was posting some of these on Instagram for my stories, and one friend pointed out, she said, I think a lot of people are drinking and driving, and to get rid of the evidence, they just toss out their bottle when they're done, which, is a huge safety and health concern, because obviously people should not be drinking and driving. That is very irresponsible. It puts themselves and other people on the road at risk. Also kind of brings up an issue of just alcoholism in general. Where I am, the liquor stores were open during the lockdown because they were considered essential. And you might be thinking, well, how is that? Well, if you close all the liquor stores, you would have probably millions of Americans forced to detox, and just given the situation, I don't think hospitals and rehab centers could take the influx of forced sobriety, because it does have a physical impact on your body. You could, if you're addicted to alcohol and you just suddenly stop, your body can really counteract horribly. So I think that's one issue to discuss. I think another one too is just like, with the plastic things. So here you see like a coffee cup and a bottled water. Like I said, like these plastic production continues even though your town or city doesn't necessarily need to provide facilities for those plastics to be recycled. Your recycling centers don't need to recycle every type of plastic that's out there. So really, it's just a production of waste, essentially, right? And so then the other thing too, I did for a brief time and then I stopped, partially because nothing was really coming out of it. But I was sharing the waste that I was finding along my routes, residential area, things that were just tossed onto the sidewalk, the side of the road, next to the trees, etc., etc., etc. And I started tagging the companies that appeared on my trash routes. Really only one of them responded, which is the mint one. It was on the pictures somewhere here. The mint liqueur, menthol, whatever. But they basically said, hey, we're sorry that people are littering, but it's not really our issue. And I'm like, okay, and we kind of went back and forth. I was actually surprised that they responded because most of them did not. I did see that they looked at it because you could see on Instagram if people have read your messages. And so it's like, okay, the people littering aren't taking responsibility for littering, and the people producing these plastics aren't taking responsibility either. So then who is responsible, right? I think it's both. I think it's both the companies that produce such things, and I think it's also on an individual level. How is it that we're able to manufacture things that we don't have places to recycle or to clearly put away? It's just plastic upon plastic upon plastic, comes into microplastics, and I don't know. This is sort of just like me rambling and hoping that people do better. All right, I'm going to end it there.